Come in.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you? I'm
Good.
Faith Carroll.
Hey, Faith. I'm Dean Lane.
It's nice to meet you. Thank you so much for having me in your Houston office today.
You're welcome. I'm glad you could make it in.
Yes, it's beautiful up here. I used to live in Houston back when I was in high school, and so I used to live in the Memorial area, not too far down from here.
Oh, wow. That's where I live.
Really? Memorial area?
Yeah.
What lane?
I live over in a neighborhood called Sandalwood.
Okay, I was off of Linnell Lane.
Okay.
So yeah, not too big.
So did you go to Memorial High School, or were you in the area when you went through high school?
Yes, I was in Memorial High School,
Okay.
and then moved back to East Texas, Longview, where Haynes King comes from.
Oh, there you
Go Lane in football.
There you go.
And then graduated, came to A&M and graduated in 2021.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you for coming in to see me.
Thank you.
What do you got for me?
Yes, sir. So, like I said, I'm here with Reveille Commercial Real Estate.
Mm-hmm.
I've had the opportunity to get to speak with one of your HR managers.
Okay.
Is that the case?
Yeah.
Your HR managers?
Yeah, he gave me some great feedback.
Okay, perfect. Glad. Okay, so here in a second we'll talk about what you know and catch you up to date.
Did you get the text that I sent you?
Yes, I did, and we can talk about that here in a moment.
Okay.
As well.
Okay.
How much time do we have available today? I want to make sure I'm respectful.
I got 20 minutes or so.
Okay, perfect. And then as far as our agenda today, I just want to keep it really flexible. I want to talk about this new site that you mentioned over text, talk about what you know about it, why you are interested in it, and then we can talk about what your needs are, what you're looking for as a land developer, maybe what your concerns are right now in the market, and then we can kind of talk about College Station and the opportunities that are available there. Does that sound
great.
good?
Yeah, I love College Station.
Okay, perfect. I know, I want to hear more about that.
I went to school there, so, it's just a part of my heart that I always go back to. So we've never really had the opportunity. We've never had anybody bring us a tract of land in College Station, so I look forward to hearing about it.
Yeah, okay, perfect. And then just before we get started too, as far as the decision-making process goes, if we talk about it today and you see that there's a land or property that you love that provides a lot of value, do you go back to your partners and talk about that? Are you the one that's able?
Yeah, so what our typical process is, there's 4 partners that are in the company, so we will each sit around the table. I wouldn't call it a board, but it's kind of like a board. Mm-hmm. We'll evaluate the property, but it's an intensive review that we'll go through once we decide the location makes some sense for us.
Okay.
So we'll try and establish a void and kind of see what's probably good for the property.
Yeah.
Make sure the value of the property is conducive, and certainly we can make money buying it. So it's not a very difficult decision process. So pretty simple. We're not a big corporation, so we can make quick decisions.
Right, of course. And so that's really helpful for me to know, just to kind of know how we proceed from here, especially with your partners. And so, let's talk about it. Let's talk about this text message you sent me on the way over. You said that there's a piece of property in College Station that you're interested in, other than the one that we're talking about today.
Yeah, so, generally if somebody's going to present something to me, I'm going to do a little homework.
Right.
And, I love the intersection, but all of a sudden, when I started looking at it on from a Google review and certainly from an information source, I noticed that Costco had just opened up a store.
Yeah.
I knew they were looking at the area. By the way, they were looking at your site.
Yeah.
And they ended up going up the street and purchasing a site, which kind of caught my attention. Mm-hmm. And so I noticed there was a piece of real estate next door to it. Do you know anything about it?
I don't know a ton about it. What I do know, because I also am very well versed in that area, I know is it's about 26 acres. It's right next to Christ United Methodist Church. I do have some materials here just to make sure that we're clarifying what property you're looking at. Here, let's look at this one. So from this map here, this is the property that we were considering beforehand, and then I think that this is the property that you're considering now.
That is it.
And the Costco's right here. And so can you please explain to me what stuck out to you about it, or like what's interesting
Well,
about
so
it?
as we do our development and certainly look at the surrounding market, the one thing that what drives retail is really sales. Mm-hmm. So an anchor to a property is key to the equation. So if we're going to go develop something, the first thing we're going to do, I call them kind of the big 4. I want to call them Home Depot and Lowe's, Walmart, Target, Costco, Sam's. Those are kind of our biggest and best.
Okay, good to know.
Costco generates a huge amount of sales, so I'm very interested in kind of the ability to kind of potentially be near them, but they're in the arena.
Yes, of course. So One of the things right off the bat that I think about that is I completely understand with Costco being here, you generate a lot. In my experience as an expert in this region of College Station, we're booming, right? I mean, Business Insider just ranked us number 11 out of 25 for the top, fastest growing cities in the nation.
That's
and
awesome.
That growth, I'm sure if you've come back for a football game at all, is south. And we're feeling a little crowded. So this area is booming, and so whenever I was looking at this property as well, one of the things that came up was the fact that Costco sells a lot. So what do you think about the restrictions that might pop up with this area as opposed to this one?
Costco is probably going to restrict food. They typically restrict fuel as well.
Mm-hmm.
To my understanding, you can tell me more about your property, but
Mm-hmm.
I believe there's going to be a fuel station that's going to go on the corner
Yes.
of the property right here. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not as worried about fuel.
Okay.
Costco typically tries to restrict pharmacies, so there
Mm-hmm.
definitely are some
Kind of
restrictions
some limitations
that they
here
would put on the property.
that you maybe wouldn't necessarily get over here, right?
That's
Because
correct.
you're across the
That's
street.
correct.
So something else that I want to encourage you, because I want to make sure that you make a good investment, right? I want to make sure NewQuest is set up for success. Is this intersection right here is a gold mine. It's way less risk averse because we have this cross section here. On average, there's like 73,000 to 75,000 vehicles per day that are on this road. For Highway 6, 43,000 a day on William D. Fitch. Meaning that this property is way less risk averse than this one where you only have one access point. And if I remember correctly, just from driving it, there's an access ramp right here, which means, no one really wants to go and look at a property right off of an access ramp. And so when I look at this for you and NewQuest, and I know that y'all are in the retail space and you like these big anchor stores, like you said with Target, I just don't think you get as much returns right here as you would over here where you have this cross section.
So you said that this intersection is certainly a gold mine. Do you
Mm-hmm.
know anything about sales at the intersection?
Yes. So this intersection itself, Costco, for only opening in August, is already projected to make like $300 million in sales just from this area.
Wow.
So if you notice here on this property, there is, a massive residential presence that is back here that is primarily comprised of like doctors and professionals because there's a hospital right down the road, like 5 minutes down the road here. So the average income is easily six figures. They're married couples who typically send their kids to Pebble Creek Elementary down here. They hop on Highway 6, they go to Baylor Scott and White. So when they come back, there's a tremendous opportunity in this area to have some of those staple anchors that they can come home to on the going home side whenever
So
they come back.
have you ever shopped out here?
Yes. So specifically in Costco, but college students are not here as prevalently as close to the university.
Okay.
So I come here for the Zaxby's, but other than that, you're primarily going to be talking to a pretty high income and increased population. In this area alone, there's like 15,000 people and growing. This growth rate right here in College Station is predicted to be 10% in the next 5 years, which is crazy. And I know
Those are
that
good
also.
numbers.
Well, and I know whenever y'all did the Brazos Shopping Center in Houston, y'all had
That's one of our best.
y'all had like 16% population growth,
Yeah.
and so we're right on that trajectory to have those returns. So what do you
So
think
have
about that?
you ever shopped in that HEB? I've not been in there.
I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't shopped in this HEB. Like I said, this area really doesn't cater to college students as much. We have
So
one close to
mostly
Texas.
it's just single family homes out there.
Yeah.
Professors and some of the people that work these
Mhm.
hospitals.
Yeah, and
Okay.
so
What is this right here?
I'm not entirely sure what that is, but I do know that. Oh, that's the elementary school.
Oh, that's
So-
the elementary school?
Yeah, I'm looking
Okay,
at it upside
okay,
down.
okay.
This is the elementary school,
Okay.
which can have its own restrictions itself. But College Station is really trying to bring in these big businesses. They've already zoned it. It's general commercial zoning here,
Okay.
and so
Do
because
you know
of
if
that,
we can do apartments on
yes, I believe you can. But I know that they're more trying to encourage a retail space.
it? Okay.
But one of the things that I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into with you is, so like I said before, I know that you are primarily in these big retail giants. You have these big anchor stores. Is that something that you're wanting to continue with in Lane
Yeah,
Development?
our success is in retail. We stick
Okay.
with it. We are considering, we just opened up an apartment division, so
Yeah.
we're kind of giving that some thought as well.
Okay.
So one of the things you're seeing in our industry is it's becoming a little mixed use.
Mm-hmm.
And so, shop, work, play kind of deal. That's the big,
Mhm.
theme in retail now is you want to be able to shop, work, and play. I don't know that I really want to live next to the retail, but a lot of people do.
Right.
They want to walk to the grocery store.
Of course. And so, yeah, go as far as walking to the grocery store. Something else I wanted to ask you about as well is I know with the current state of the economy right now, construction costs are really high, and I'm sure that it's hit your margins.
Yeah,
I'm assuming.
there's no question. Construction costs are going to be key.
Okay.
Certainly the price of the property and the entitlements to the property are going to be important to me. So, looking at it, it looks like it's got great access to all of the major roads, and so the thoroughfares look great. So what are these guys asking for the property?
Yeah. So, that varies as far as all the different features we have on it. I think right now, last time I posted it was like 14 million.
Okay.
But that's all variable. I will let you know that with this property, even opposed to this one, has very high visibility. There's not many trees on it. We've already established there's a pretty high access point here, and the entitlements are all the way there. The utilities are present and it's zoned. So like I said, this would be the easiest investment. So long-term, your construction costs, would be very minimal.
Yeah, that makes a difference. It does look like it has a little topography, but I think overall it's a pretty clean site.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. And so would you be interested in talking more about the concept that we could potentially put on it?
Sure. What are you thinking?
Yeah. So I have, this is just a mock concept that we drew up and we can kind of workshop this together. But this site, potentially, like I said, knowing what NewQuest has done in the past, what I was thinking that we do is we do 2 big anchor stores here, like we do a Target, because that's what y'all know how to do. And we wouldn't have the restrictions because the Costco, it's across the way. We don't share a common barrier with the Costco. Yeah. And then maybe a Dick's Sporting Goods here.
Isn't there already a Target up the street somewhere?
There is a Target on the other side of town,
okay.
Off of Texas, and it is busting at the seams.
Okay. Well, that's good news.
That Target specifically does $450 million a year.
Wow.
Just because if you think about it, College Station, we're seasonal, but also you have the backing of this elderly community, and so they get these massive spurts, of just like cleaning out.
Target's one of our favorite.
I know.
favorite users. So that's encouraging.
Yeah. And so we're thinking about doing a Target and then doing a Dick's Sporting Goods. And the reason why I say Dick's Sporting Goods is, didn't you have some background with Dick's Sporting Goods?
I did. I represented them in doing their real estate in a 7-state region. So That's interesting that you found that out about me.
Yes. And so I know that you have some familiarity with them as well.
I do.
And probably some comfortability with them. And so like you were talking about, this is a great area for the mixed use sites that you're talking about with NewQuest, with those opportunities. In that I want to do what I was thinking about is doing a combination of kind of what you did with Stableside and Brazos, by having the 2 big anchors here, but then you can have the novelty stores around here. So you can do kind of the laser tag or the little restaurants or kind of the mixed use things, or maybe a dentist office in this area with the steady cash flow of these 2 giants.
What do you think about Health Club?
Health club, like as far as like having a medical site here?
Well, a health club, just some place to work out, 24-hour fitness or a Gold's Gym. Is there one in the area?
They're not.
I don't think there's one at the intersection. I don't remember.
I don't remember there being one at the intersection either. What interests you about that?
Oh, we just do a lot of business with health clubs. They're just great drivers for traffic into shopping centers, so it's a good use for us.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. That's definitely something we can workshop there as well. I know that with health clubs coming out of COVID and such, like actually like being present in a gym was something that they really had to overcome. They took a big hit of revenue. So it might end up being a plus too, that if you want to implement a health club, that by purchasing this site, if they knew that there were 2, like if say a Gold Bonds gym came in and saw that these 2 steady anchors were here with cash flow, that they would want to sign a longer term lease, right? Because they're supported by all this customer activity. What do you think about that?
No, I think that's a great idea. I think, tell me a little bit about this neighborhood back here.
Yeah, so like I said, this is a very older population, not older, typically young 30s, married, mainly have a couple kids, mainly because they're living close to the Pebble Creek Elementary. And so also very growing neighborhood. You can kind of see there's kind of a lot around here, but this one specifically has a lot of growth. Opportunity as well.
So older, you mean older people?
No, older. And my perception as a 21-year-old is like, wow, they are like really set apart.
I can tell you how old I am.
No, average is like young 30s.
Okay.
A lot of nurse practitioners.
Those are babies to me.
I know for me, I'm like, they're like unattainable, like they really have their lives together. And so, yes, they're definitely high spending habits and typically have outdoor interests because a lot of them are in the health profession, which is kind of what motivated me to want to do the...
Yeah, they're great customers. Anybody that's a professional in that arena is certainly a great customer.
Yeah. And yeah, they're definitely a great customer in that whenever I was doing my research, I found out that really the average customer that this plot of land would be pitching to, and you kind of tell me if I have this correct, but we're really talking about Jeff and Sarah here. They're a young married couple, early 30s. Like I said, they dropped their kids off at Pebble Creek Elementary. They're going to work at the medical professional. I think there's also like an engineering firm somewhere over as well, so definitely this upper class. And they need this multi-purpose site, right?
Okay.
So they come in, they have the Target, they have the Dick's Sporting Goods where they can buy equipment for their camping trip coming up. They can buy coats for their kids on the way home. They can work out. They can take their families to dinner. That we can.
Well, that's all awesome.
We can have a medical unit. So
well, tell me a little bit about Reveille. So, do you guys think y'all can handle this if I am interested in making an offer?
Absolutely. Yeah, Reveille Commercial Real Estate, we are experts specifically in College Station.
Okay.
So we do a lot of marketing and selling land. And like I said, my best interest as your agent working with you with this is just making sure that you're set up for success. As far as we'd walk with you every step of the way, you kind of get me in the package.
That's perfect. I would expect a lot out of you. So if we're going to make an offer on a piece of property, the broker is going to be key to the equation.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I'm going to need to know more about comparables in the area. I'm going to need to know more about sales. And I think I would like to get a little bit more information on the site next to Costco. So do you think it's a site we ought to consider as well?
I do not think it's a site you should consider. Just from a long-term investment opportunity, I think we've established that here you have greater access points. You can actually have a lot more front leasing property. You would not be able.
Frontage is key.
Yeah, because look at this frontage here. You would only be able to lease like 3 pads versus look at all of this that you'd have here. And then also you can do the mixed use. It's immediately feeding into this neighborhood. This, you're kind of hidden behind the church here.
Yeah.
So for your sake, I really think this is a better opportunity. Do you agree?
I agree. I mean, you're really starting to make me realize that even though Costco's down there, I think it probably makes more sense to be closer to the intersection.
Right.
But then
take advantage of all the customers that they're driving into the area.
I just need to make sure that that one of my competitors doesn't come down there and acquisition me or get some of my business.
Right. And I'd love to continue this conversation with you because I can tell that you're really interested. So what would you think about coming down with me to College Station? We can go to lunch at the Chicken or Cafe Bridge.
I'd love to.
I can bring my team so you can meet more people. And then we can go around and walk around the site and we can point out. In this paperwork, I've listed the utilities for you. There's a lot of information here that you can kind of look over between now and then, and we can kind of talk more about this opportunity.
Well, I'm going to be up at the Ole Miss game. Do you?
I'll be there as well.
Do you work on weekends?
I will be at the game, so I do have box tickets. So if you want to come with me,
there you go. Yeah. So no, I'm up in College Station a lot, so it'll be easy for us to connect and go take a spin out there.
Perfect. So Ole Miss weekend, you want to do it then?
Yeah, sure.
You can take a drive. Okay, perfect. Yeah, my parents will be in town. We can see each other at the game, maybe.
Oh, good. I'd love to meet them.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let me give you one of my business cards.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Good job.
Thank you. That was a lot of information to learn really fast.
You did really well.
Thank you. I'll take all the papers.
Good job coming back to